Welcome back, guys. Western Sharpies RC. Thanks for joining me, and hope you enjoy this little video. I'll try not to make it as confusing as it's already going to be, but in this one here, I'll be building and assembling 14th scale air brakes for a customer. He's wanted 4 sets, which is equivalent to 4 axles worth. Here you can see what an entire setup looks like on my trailer. I specifically designed them for the flatbeds, the Tamiya ones. Mainly this bottom portion here, should you choose to pick something up like this. Keep in mind, it's been designed for this trailer because of the dimensions. This cross member fits in between the frame perfectly, which holds all that bottom assembly. Not necessarily the top. I'm sure you could use these on any generic trailer as long as the axles are round, but keep in mind if you're going to be using that bottom portion, it's been designed for the Tamiya flatbed. So you can see here that they've, for whatever reason, Tamiya's got these little holes in the frame, and those are the holes that I use to screw the cross member into. And it's conveniently located, so that works out real good. And that keeps that in there nice and tight. And then you got the little relay valve with the brake lines, and they go into the brake chambers. They'll have a couple little holes screwed into the middle portion of it there for the air lines, and then a little push rod that goes into the brake chamber on one end and then into the slack adjuster on the other end. And there's a left and right slack adjuster as well, so if you're building this up from scratch, keep that in mind. And then on the other side of the slack adjuster, there's a little hole that I put this piece of styrene tubing into, and then it goes into the wheel well to simulate the S-cam. And there's a little lip on the axle that I just rest the tube on and attach it with a little dab of glue. So just to show you building some of the parts, should you choose to just want to have a crack at it yourself. This is the air tank. There's the body portion, and then there's 2 ends. You just take your end there and CA glue it like that. You can sand afterwards, but the body has some pre-printed holes. This one here is for that little thing there. It's just a pinhead that I use to simulate the drain cock. And the other 2 holes right there are for the brackets that hold the cross member. So you take a couple little brackets, they got little holes on the bottom, and you line those up with those there. And then I just use some little black screws, some M 1.4s. I think they're about 5 millimeters long. And then I screw the brackets into the tank once the tank's built. And there's another little hole right here. I'll show you. For the relay valve. So that hole there is for this here, and I'll show you how I build one of these up. But once this is built up, you put a little dab of glue on there and then fit that into the hole. Line it up straight, and then make sure it's horizontal. So that should look like that. And then you take your cross member, once the air tank's attached to the brackets, and you slip that unit on top of the cross member here and just glue it into place. Just try to eyeball it, line it up even. And then, yeah, so then you got that, and then you got the relay valve, which you take these brake chambers and brackets, and I've just used some 28 gauge black electrical wire. I think it's 28. And drill a couple little holes, stuff that into the brake chambers, and then I just figured out a length of wire that'll look like this when it's all installed. It'll give it that little S curve. So when it comes time to installing the brake chambers, you're going to put a little dab of glue on the back side of the bracket. As you can see, it's curved. And the Tamiya axles are curved. And just make sure before you glue them and set them in, they're facing the trailer and not the road. So make sure they look like that. I even have to put the trailer up on the bench when I'm building these, just to reference to. So as far as the little relay valve, if you're going to build that up, this is what it starts off as, just a little piece like that. There's 2 holes on the ends like that, and there's 1 hole on the back side. And I just used this styrene tube from Evergreen. Here are the specs right there. And you got to make sure they're hollow so you can feed the air lines through. And this guy's wanted them to be in black, so you just take your styrene tube and then this is how I do it. I just stick that into there like that. I do that 4 times, and then I put a little dab of glue in there as well, and then I cut them. Doesn't really matter where you cut them. You could do it there or there, wherever, whatever look you like. And then I put 1 on the back side there, because that's gonna look like that. That's the part that fits into there. And then I just spray the entire unit silver. And then you can put the, I don't think I'll be able to do this one-handed. But once it's attached to the air tank, then you can, like I said, make sure you're not mixing up the left and the right. You feed those wires into the little holes like so, put a little dab of glue, and then same on the other end. And then this assembly is ready to get placed into that location over there, so that'll fit there like that. And like I said, just make sure when you glue these onto the axles, you know, you don't face them the wrong way. So that'll kind of be like that. And afterwards, the last part is the slack adjusters and the push rods. So I've just, well, there's that little pin that I used for the drain cock. I just chopped that head off. For the slack adjusters, I just used some metal rod, and there's a little hole in the brake chamber there. And that just sits in there like that. I mean, they don't move. It's all permanently glued in there. 1 dab of glue on that end, and then 1 dab of glue onto the slack adjuster. So to make those, I take a slack adjuster. There's a left and a right, like I was saying. And then I drill a little hole onto the end. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Just so that the metal rod has something to seat into. And then I'll put that in there like that. I'll give it a little whack with a hammer and put a little dab of glue on the end as well, so that it's on there pretty good. You can see. And then when it comes time to put those in, I'll glue the brackets on, the brake chambers, and then, oh sorry, before I do that, what I'll mention too, this other end of the slack adjuster, or the other side, has a little hole. And you take this styrene tube and you stuff that in there like that. And then that little unit gets this. So this would be the holes facing this side. So let me get another one. Here. So this will go, once that's all glued in there, you'll stick this rod through the brake chamber, not to go too far past, because you don't see the push rod coming through the brake chamber. Put a little dab of glue on the end. It's still a little too big, I gotta cut it to size, but that goes in there like that. And then for the other end, what I do about this, there's a little lip on the end of the axle that I just rest this tube on top of and secure it with a little dab of CA glue. So Anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to share all that. And when it's all done, you got yourself a cool little air brake set up. It looks like that. So when the trailer's flipped over, and you look at it from the underside, that's what you're looking at. Which I think looks kind of neat. Help make these bland Tamiya trailers pop a little more. Gotta make sure you line them up straight, otherwise they'll be cockeyed. But anyway, guys, that's it for this one. Questions, comments, leave down below. Link to my Facebook page is in the description. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.